Welcome to today's numeracy tutorial. Our learning objective today is to divide a 3-digit number by a 1-digit number. As always, we'll get ready for our lesson with a 5-question brain gym. Get ready to get warmed up. Here are the 5 questions for you to have a go. Pause the video now and come back and see how well you got on. Okay, question 1 to question 3 were multiplication focused. You may have used short multiplication, the written method, to have calculated the product of 218 and 3. The total is 654. Question 2 checks that you can multiply by multiples of 10. So we've got 5 tens multiplied by 7 is equal to 35 tens, which is 350. Question 3 challenges you to multiply more than 2 numbers. I know 8 times 7 is equal to 56, and that multiplied by 1 is 56. Remember, multiplication is commutative, so you can multiply the numbers in any order, whatever is easier for you. Question number 4 is a subtraction question. 8,000 take away 120. I notice that I can make a calculation easier for myself. Do you see how this can be done? I can adjust both numbers by 1. I can write 7,999 and subtract 119. This is a more efficient way of subtraction because I avoid any exchanges. We can see that 120 less than 8,000 is in fact 7,880. Question 5 is our time question. The clock's minute hand is pointing to 8. Showing that there are 20 minutes before it reaches the start of the next hour. This means it is 20 minutes to. We can see the hour hand has passed 2, but it's not yet at 3. It is 20 minutes to 3, and we write this in digital time like 2:40. Remember, digital time is always written left to right, the current hour and the minutes past the current hour. Now we are ready to focus on our learning objective for today. Dividing 3-digit numbers by a 1-digit number using the formal method. Here we go. Here we have the calculation 996 divided by 3. In much the same way as in my previous tutorial, where we focused on dividing a 2-digit number by 1, we're going to use a place value grid and the formal written method to divide this number by 3. Let's show the number 996 with place value counters on the table. Remember, unlike when we multiply, when we divide we start with the greatest place value column. Here it's the hundreds. We ask ourselves, because we're dividing by 3, how many groups of 300s can I make? I can make 3 groups. Therefore, on the written method, I write a 3 just above the hundreds digit. Now I do the same with the tens. I ask myself, how many groups of 3 tens can I make? I can make 3 groups. Therefore, on the written method, I write a 3 above the tens digit. Finally, we need to ask ourselves how many groups of 3 ones can we make? Here we can see that we can make 2 groups of 3 ones. I will record this in the formal method like this. The quotient of 996 divided by 3 is equal to 332. There are 2 points I'd like to highlight now in the tutorial. 1. It is essential for you to know your times table facts off by heart. You don't want to be using counters on a place value table to help you make sets. Instead, you can use your timetable facts to recall that information rapidly. This tutorial is showing you the place value counters to deepen your understanding of division and how the formal written method is linked to this operation. Number 2, remember the word quotient means the answer to a division calculation. In just the same way as the answer to a multiplication operation is called the product, quotient is the answer to a division calculation. Using that method, a place value grid and the formal method alongside, have a go at dividing 693 by 3. Pause the video and try it out. Written with the formal method, 693 is placed under the bus shelter and 3, the number that we are dividing by, it's called the divisor, is placed alongside it. 693 looks like this. Because we are dividing, we'll start with the greatest place value column, in this case the hundreds. How many groups of 300s can be made from 600s? 1, 2. We write the 2 above the 600s in the written method. Next we move to the tens place value column. We do the same. How many groups of 3 tens can be made from 9 tens? 1, 2, 3. We write 3 above the tens digit. Finally, what is 3 divided by 3? We can see it's 1. We can make one group of 3 ones with 3 ones. Record this in the formal method above the ones digit. 693 divided by 3 is equal to 231. Here we have a new calculation. 734 divided by 2. We write the formal method and place our counters in the place value grid. Again, we are dividing, so let's begin with the greatest place value column. How many groups of 200s can be made from 700s? We can see 3. This calculation is different than the earlier ones we've looked at because 2 does not divide equally into 7. We know that 3 times 2 is equal to 6, whereas 4 times 2 is equal to 8. We have a remaining 100. In this case, we will write 3 above the hundreds digit in the written method. This shows that we can make 3 groups of 200s. We need to exchange the remaining 100 into the tens place value column. Let's see what that looks like with counters. We record this exchange in the formal written method by writing a little 1 in the tens column, alongside the digit that is already there, the 3. Notice, I write the little 1 to show the exchange to the left-hand side of the digit. You can now see that we've got 13 tens. We continue as before, dividing the tens by asking ourselves how many groups of 2 tens can be made from 13 tens. Let's see. We can make 6 groups of 10. 6 sets of 2 is equal to 12, and 7 multiplied by 2 is equal to 14. We've got a remaining 1. We record this in the written method by writing a 6 above the tens digit. This shows us that we can make 6 sets of 2, but we've got 1 10 remaining. We must exchange the 10 into the ones column. We record this in the formal written method by writing a little 1 beside the ones digit. We can now see that we've got 14 ones, and like before, we divide 14 ones into equal sets of 2. There are 7 groups of 2 within 14. We record this above the ones digit in the formal written method. Our answer to 734 divided by 2 is 367. Here's a question involving exchanging for you. Pause the video and have a go. We're dividing 192 by 8 this time. As before, I record the formal written method and place counters into my place value table. This will help us see what's going on. We begin by asking how many groups of 800s can be made from 100. Well, we can see none. We record this in the formal written method by writing 0 above the hundreds digit. We must exchange the 100 for 10 tens. Remember to record the exchange in the written method. We write a little 1 to the left side of the tens digit, so now we can see that we've got 19 tens. Now we ask that all-important question, how many groups of 8 can I make from 19 tens? Knowing your 8 times table facts, you will know that equal groups of 8 cannot be made from a quantity of 19. 2 groups of 8 is equal to 16. 3 groups of 8 is equal to 24. We record the 2 groups in the written method by writing 2 above the tens digit, and then we show the exchange. We do this by writing a little 3 to the left-hand side of the ones digit. Now we can clearly see that there are 32 ones. How many groups of 8 can be made from 32 ones? 4. 4 times 8 is equal to 32. This is recorded above the ones digit in the formal written method. We know that 192 divided by 8 is equal to 24. Now it's time for Greg to remind us about remainders. When we calculate and have a remainder, it means that the divisor did not divide equally into the number and we had some left over. Let's look at an example of this type of calculation. As before, we write the formal method and show our counters on the place value table, which we're using to help us better understand division. Beginning with the greatest place value, we investigate how many groups of 4 can be made from 9 hundredths. We can see 2 groups can be made. We record this in the formal written method above the hundredths place value, but we've got 100 that we must exchange. We exchange that 100 for 10 tens. Remember to record this in the written method. We place a little 1 beside the tens digit. We can see that we now have 10 tens. How many groups of 4 can be made from the 10 tens? 2. We record this in the written method in the tens place. And now again we've got 2 tens remaining and they must be exchanged for 1s. We record this by writing a little 2 to the left-hand side of the 1s digit. Now our formal written method shows us we've got 27 1s. How many groups of 4 are in 27? We know that there are 6 groups, but there are 3 remaining. We need to record this in our formal written method. We do this by writing or 3, or standing for remainder. We have calculated 907 divided by 4 is equal to 226 with a remainder of 3. Greg has one more challenge for you to work through today before I finished recording today's tutorial. In this challenge, he tells us that 1 drink is 89p. But he also informs us that there's a deal on. And this deal offers 3 of the same drinks for £2.25. He wants to know what sort of a bargain he is getting. How much cheaper is each drink in the deal? Rice. Read the problem and identify the important information. Illustrate the problem. Well, I've done this here, just using pictures of bottles. I can see that I need to divide £2.25 by 3. This will tell me the cost of 1 drink. £2.25 is actually 225p. So I could just divide 225 by 3 and then remember to change my answer to a money amount at the end. Or I can write the money amount using the decimal point in my written method. It's absolutely important the decimal point gets its own column if we write it like this. We need to also put that decimal point into our answer. You can see 1 decimal point is placed right above the other. Now we just calculate as before. How many groups of 3 can I make from 2? None. So I need to exchange. Now, how many groups of 3 can I make from 22? Well, I know that 7 times 3 is 21. So I need to exchange 1. How many groups of 3 can I make from 15? Well, 5 times 3 is 15. So I have found out that each drink is 75p. But be careful. I'm not finished. I was asked how much cheaper is each drink in the deal. I've got to subtract the cost of 1 drink outside of the deal from the cost of 1 drink in the deal. 89 take away 75 leaves me with 14. So I know that each drink is 14p cheaper in the deal. Greg is happy. That's the end of today's tutorial on dividing 3 digits by a single digit. But before you go off and complete your independent task, which I'm sure you are absolutely ready to give a go, I want to leave you with something. Now that you can divide 3-digit numbers by 1-digit number, just apply exactly the same method to dividing 4-digit numbers, 5-digit numbers, 6-digit numbers. You can divide any number now by a single digit. Good luck!